Good morning. Welcome to the vault. I guess most of us should have assumed that there would be some type of fallout from this new information of Brian Kohberger being at the Mad Greek. Well, the owner has refuted this claim. So now, where do you take this? Because one could say, well, how would you know? Were you there every day working to know who comes in and out of your establishment? Do you check the cameras every day? Do you even have working cameras inside of the establishment and outside and review them every day, all day, 7 days a week? What is the truth? Was he at this restaurant at some point during the spring, summer, and fall of 2022? News Nation has the source. And if there's further investigation by people, will they take back the claim of the story? And will the person take ownership that they lied about knowing or seeing Kohberger at this Mad Greek? What a mess.
I've got a late update here, late breaking update to the story that we brought you last night, where People magazine had said that they had found a restaurant employee of the Mad Greek restaurant in Idaho who confirmed that Brian Kohberger had been in that restaurant a couple of times, ordered a vegan pizza, had some strange requests. And that really gave us the nexus to the victims in the Idaho killings. But the woman who runs and owns the Mad Greek restaurant is pushing back, Jackie Fisher. She is saying the news media should really do their due diligence before running a story with completely fabricated information. This will be my only response to this story from People. It's not true. However, I will say this. People magazine talked to a former employee of the restaurant, and an investigator, a source of theirs, confirmed that it was true. So that's tricky, and we'll have to navigate through all of that. But I can't think of a better example of the full saturation news coverage of sensational cases that keeps us all on the edge of our seats, but at the same time possibly poisoning a jury pool. That can happen. Susan Constantine knows this.
When you go in and watch this video, behind the screen, you'll see the statement from, I guess, the owners, proprietors of this Mad Greek restaurant, saying basically at the bottom of the message that we collectively, as, I guess, employees, workers of this establishment, not to talk about the kids, the storyline. So where does this person fit in? So obviously they were not there when this meeting took place, that nobody at the restaurant was to speak on the subject matter. So once again, when did the person start working there? How long? And when did they leave? Did they leave by choice, or were they fired? Because all that's going to matter for us to believe this person's version of him being at the restaurant. This is, as I said, a hot mess. Hello, everybody in the chat. Welcome.
Knows this well because she's a jury consultant, she's a trial strategy expert, and not coincidentally, she's a human behavior expert. She's consulted on some of the biggest high-profile trials of our times, Jeffrey Epstein, Michael Jackson, among them. Susan, first let me just start off with the obvious question. Changing a venue is usually what you hear first, right? That's what defense lawyers, sometimes prosecutors, Jerry Sandusky, the prosecutors wanted it out of there, but changing a venue is different in this day and age because venues are all the same with social media, with your phone and the instant alerts. Is there such thing as a change of venue anymore?
Well, the last I heard of a really big trial that I was, aware of here was in Orlando, Casey Anthony trial. We didn't have a change of venue, but they were pulling in jurors from Pinellas County into Orange County. That actually was effective in this particular case. But I want to share with you that I just got back from London, and in the grocery store in London, there were two of the workers that were there, where they were talking about the Idaho murder case and already said about that man that had killed those 4 people. So you're right. I mean, there's nowhere you can hide, nowhere you can go. Everyone's heard of it, no matter where they're at. It's a global universe. The World Wide Web makes you feel like you know the people next door.
So when you get hired, what do you look for? What are your tricks of the trade so that you know someone who's up on the stand getting voir dired to be a member of a jury panel? You know they're not a stealth juror who's got a mission, right? I'm going to nail that guy, or I'm going to write a book, or whatever it is they might do. What do you look for to make sure you get the panel that your client, be it the prosecutor or the defense, needs?
Well, that's a really good question too, Ashley, because really you start with the demographic factors. You know, we know that there are specific type of jurors that tend to be more egalitarian versus authoritarian based on their job, their background. And then you go into, you know, in every case it's different. So for, let's say, an Idaho murder case, we've got 4 people that were killed. 3 of them were women. So that's going to change the dynamics. How many of those people that are on that jury pool or that were summoned for the jury that have children the same age that may also be in college that may project their fears and concerns on that particular defendant? That's one of them. The other thing is that once you compile certain demographic factors, we know that women are generally harder on crime than most men are when it comes to these violent acts against women, even in sexual assault cases. And then in addition to that, then what I'm doing is I'm watching their responses. I want to find people that are really honest. When I say honest, I mean you could sense in their facial expressions, their warmth in their eyes, they want to be helpful, and they are easily to have a conversation with. So they're not really forcing it. And so you can tell that when you're reading facial expressions because you can see it in the muscles in their face and what's firing. So I'm looking for contemptuous facial expressions. Those are the smirks, the eyebrow raises, the demeanor, rapid eye blinking, which is showing cognitive load. So I like to look across the panel, and I want to see when a probative question is asked, one that should create some sort of stimulus. I'm watching to see which jurors' eyes are blinking more rapidly than others. So I mean,
it's fascinating. Well, yeah. I'm going to get you back next week. I'm running out of time, but I want to get you back next week because jury selection starts on Monday. Susan Constantine, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching.
All right, everybody, News Nation. This is a hot mess. Before pulling this up, I pulled up something that come up in my notifications pertaining to Reddit. And on there 2 weeks ago, it had the restaurant and a statement on it saying he had never been there before. And then there were people commenting. And then there were things about when school started and him hanging around the house, possibly the 21st. And the 21st would have been on a Sunday. So school started the 22nd. I think for both schools, WSU and Idaho, if I'm not mistaken, what I read. So one would have to wonder, when did he actually get to Washington State? Was it June or was it August? Because if we find out he didn't get there till August, then there is a very big problem here. The obvious problem is that he was stalking them before he even made it to Washington State. Pay attention. So that's why I need a definite date of him moving into his apartment. A definite date, because there's too many versions of June, August, phone pings, June. I don't remember seeing that in the affidavit. Only thing I remember seeing in the affidavit about June was he had AT&T servers turned on, and the address that was given was Albright, Pennsylvania, not Washington. So that would lead me to believe he turned his phone on in Albright in June, which would have nothing to do with Moscow or Washington. Oh, thank you, Appalachian Granny. Thank you so much. This is a hot mess. So did the man go in the restaurant or not? If he went, when did he go? How many times did he go? If he went, is this when he noticed the girls, 2 of the girls there? Or did he find the girls on social media? As I said, you're really not going to get the gist of this story until trial. Because all this he said, she said, this is about to be just as worse as it was when it first started, when the kids first were murdered. He did it. She did it. They did it. Then there's mess about a co-conspirator. Listening to another person's network. People posting stuff. That guy holding a camera. We didn't know if that was Kohberger or not. But then he still was saying stuff, I believe, after the fact. Possibly after Kohberger was apprehended. So did he have a co-conspirator with him? Help. Oh, man. This is just a hot mess. This is not good. This is not good. But this is expected with social media, see. And it's not to say that people would have made up things when there was no social media, because people lie. It's what people do. So we don't know if this person is telling the truth. One would have to question, why are you just now coming out? Because he's been arrested 2 or so weeks now. You would have seen his photo to recognize him as a worker there. And if your motive was money and 5 minutes of fame, one would say, well, why didn't you run out of breath in the beginning? Then this person might say, well, I didn't run out of breath because I wasn't in it for the money. So now we're going to ask, did you get paid for the story? I don't know what to believe. My head hurts. Talking about this case is becoming like all the other crimes. It just gets out of control with the gossip and the people coming forward with their versions. And this is why I told you, everything is a version. You're only worth your word. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're talking about. You're only worth your word. And if your word is in bond, frankly, you don't have any worth. It's the truth. Because then people don't know who they're talking to. So I don't know what is going on. So I'd like some confirmation. And I really wish when they did the affidavit, they would just thrown that in there. Confirmation of when he moved in his apartment. Because that would help a little bit with the information, so there won't be so much rumor circulating back and forth, because everybody thinks they know when this person moved in, when this person moved in. Until you know Kohberger, you don't know when he moved in. Somebody would have to confirm a lease signing date, because only a fool would move somewhere and then didn't have anywhere to stay. And school started in August for both campuses. I just pulled it up. The University of Idaho's itinerary. I don't know. Oh, so there you have it. Miss Fisher, the owner of Mad Greek. Well, one thing we know, she's not Greek, because her last name sounds American. Oh, mercy me. And basically, she said this is her only response she's going to give pertaining to the Kohberger rumor. So now it's up to People Magazine and the person who spoke to come back and, I guess what, double down on their commentary to say, I told the truth. I did work there. And then most people say, well, you need to reveal yourself now. But they possibly want to remain anonymous. I don't know. I don't know what to say. This is just, oh, wow. What a mess. Hello, Tracy. Very sick situation. You wouldn't even think you would have this much chaos in the world when it comes to people being dead. You would think people would just leave well enough alone. But no, got to make it worse. Got to add stuff, take away from stuff, embellish stuff, so you don't know what to think. And if nobody's going to speak, And how's the truth going to come about if he was actually ever in the place? I don't know. All right, Granny, why you want to rent that? Don't you? You should know that Kohberger was already tainted before she probably ever filmed that movie. Him murdering those kids is just a combination of a lot of things that went awry in his life. Negative things, events. Not having any self-control in his life. If he became the stock boy at Walmart, remained a security officer, 9 times out of 10, Kohberger would exhibit the same behavior, talking out of turn, making odd commentary to women, lurking about, and committing the same crime had he stayed in Pennsylvania or somewhere on the East Coast, because you just don't wake up stalking people, messaging them, following them around, and then breaking into their house. He was going to do that anyway. I don't know. Just a baffling story to me. It's really baffling to me. But what I tell myself is the obvious, is that people are murdered every day. So these are not the first people to be murdered in a home. People are murdered every day. I'm going to play a little bit of Sweetie Pie Lowe's commentary. I'm not going to play much of it. Then I'm going to check out of here because it's late here and I need to get some rest. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the vault. Did he have an accomplice? I believe I've done a video on that, if he had help. Let's listen to this a bit. I don't want to play everything. I'm going to try to get into her commentary.
So what we're hearing from this guy is he obviously keeps showing up. We don't know why. By the way, just so you know his name, on TikTok, it's Josco1972. He is the one that, like, about a month ago came out and was giving all this weird, information, which, by the way, after I read the affidavit, there were some details he gave, like, about Xana. Well, I don't know that he said it was Xana, but the way he described it is like what sounds like happened to Xana specifically. So I honestly don't know if he's just making this up. I don't know if he really is law enforcement's, like, family member. And honestly, I don't know if he's related in some way to Kohberger or a friend of Kohberger. I just know that what he's saying is really strange. And you'll see what I mean here in a minute. Let me show the next video. Okay, now we get into the shoes. Hopefully there's no music that plays. I don't think there is.
Better give me those shoes. They're mine. Give them back to me.
I ain't giving them shoes back to nobody.
You better give them back to me, Leroy.
I'm keeping them shoes.
You bring them back.
I believe you did it.
I don't know why listening to that little girl say that. So creepy to me, her asking this person for her shoes back. I don't know the purpose of all this commentary in the video. A lot of people do things for show. I don't know if this is somebody just a sick person, bored, is a Kohberger fan, helper. I don't know. My thing, I get to the point where I start getting exhausted in the hypotheses of who did what, why, who didn't open the door, shut a door, who heard something, who looked out the door, who didn't call 911, Who's sending this to Reddit? Blah, blah, blah. It's all becoming white noise now. And this is what I hate about true crime. It gets redundant, ridiculous. You don't know what to think. You don't know what to believe. But that's the whole purpose of it being an ongoing investigation. They're not supposed to reveal anything. I'm sure, like as I said, the rabbit hole probably is very deep. Because in the end, we don't know why he chose the school in Washington State. I believe he chose the school to do this act. Not necessarily knowing of the girls, but who's to say he didn't see them on social media back in Pennsylvania? We're not going to know all of that until the trial. When they show us the pings, when he first followed the girls, was he in the state of Washington or was he in the state of Pennsylvania? It'd be jaw-dropping if we find out he started stalking them all the way back in Pennsylvania. We don't know. This is Sweetie Pie Lowe's content. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Beganji129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream.
Did it. I was doing a bit more, but not ready to kill him. You're killing the boy with his shoes.
You've got them hid. But you better give me those shoes. They're mine. Give them.
Okay. So that's weird, in my opinion, because he's making a note to talk about the shoes, right? We now know from the affidavit that the perpetrator was supposedly or allegedly wearing Vans shoes that had like a check. Was it a check pattern? I think that's how they refer to it. But anyway, let's go into the next shoe video because it gets weirder. All right.
Yeah, what is the point of that? It's weird. It is strange. So you don't know people's mindset.
So all you hear is his breathing. And then he zeroes in on these Vans shoes right here.
Let me say this. What people need to understand about psychopaths is that there are other psychopaths just like them walking around. You got to remember, Kohberger was walking around just some odd duck until DNA put him at the scene of the crime. So he ain't the only odd duck walking around. So you have to think about the person who's uploading this content that Sweetie Pie is playing is possibly another Kohberger or just some sicko wacko who doesn't have anything better to do than make up stuff and play weird stuff on the internet to get attention. But nonetheless, it's still something wrong with you to play these type of mind games, playing this stupid content of this little girl asking for her shoes back and showing a video of a bunch of shoes on a shelf and zooming in. See, this is how you know that the world is sick and that there are people who are just like the person that you're talking about in the storyline. And they're going to be fans. They're going to be people, yes, sending money, writing letters, doing all type of whack shit because they don't have a life and they're just as ignorant as he is, lonely as he is. Well, you know what? There's a lot of lonely people. A lot of lonely people, a lot of miserable people, but they're not trying to kill people. They're not stalking people. They're not in people's DMs, bothering them and sending them nasty, messages and keep changing profiles and changing their name. And I can honestly say, and I'm going to keep saying this so long because I'm a YouTuber, there's a lot of you I see here on YouTube and Facebook. You're Kohbergers to me, some of you, because some of the shit some of you all do is real jacked up. You think it's weird he changed his profile so he could follow them? Then they probably delete, block. Then he go get another phone burner, change profile. That's why you have to hit that IG notification that says any profile they make, they won't be able to get through. You don't just block that profile. You press the button that says any profile made. But I've seen it here. The changing of the names every 5 seconds. Every time you look up, the person's got a different fucking username in the chat. Then they want to hop up on the panel with a different name. And just do this all damn day. But you're not anything like Kohberger. You're not like Gacy or any of these other people. Yeah, you've got some tendencies, and you've heard experts say that a lot of people have tendencies just like these serial killers. You just ain't murdered anybody. But you got some weird ass tendencies. So this is why I always tell people you need to think. That Kohberger was once free walking around and nobody assumed he was a murderer. You just thought he was an odd guy. Well, there's other odd guys commenting, other odd guys uploading content, showing weird videos, weird sounds, moaning and groaning and doing all type of crazy stuff that sounds weird. And even if you do it for attention, that's still a sign that there's something wrong with your ass. You are crazy too. So really, you ain't no different than Kohberger. Your ass just ain't killed nobody and ain't got arrested. That's how I look at it. Hey, I call a spade a spade. That's why I know when to engage with certain people, and then you tell yourself don't engage. And I'm just to the point now. It's like I just told my friend who was just up on this live stream an hour or so ago. There comes a point you got to check out. Cut everybody off. Any weird, crazy behavior, nonsense, negativity, violent tendencies, nasty commentary, psycho verbiage, man, cut them off. Block them, delete them. Don't answer the phone. Don't answer the door. Just cut them off. It's all the same to me. Because I want to say something right now before I go any further. Just before we went live, somebody reached out to her through an app and reached out to me at the same time we're getting messages from some wacko at the same time, simultaneously. He's messaging both of us, but he's not a friend of mine. He's not a friend of hers. Now you put that on paper. So it's almost like he knew we were talking to each other, but we don't know him and he don't know us. So I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm saying to you. What are the odds that she and I are messaging one another and he sends a message to me first and then he sends a message to her and she is repeating similar message that he just sent me. He says hello to me. Then he says something to her. How are you? Blah, blah, blah. And it was a foreigner. Now, how the fuck is he messaging both of us simultaneously? He just what? Found us on a certain platform and said, well, they must talk to each other. I'm going to message each one back to back. This is why I keep trying to tell you all, this shit ain't no joke out here. And the first thing I started thinking, is this just somebody trying to scam us? Somebody trying to hack our accounts? Or somebody that knows I sit up here and talk about this, what I'm talking about right now. And I just told you all earlier why I don't want to talk about true crime every day, because you can invite the enemy in. See, I believe in the scripture and I believe in what it says. Speak it, it shall be so. So you're inviting that negative energy in, talking about dead people every day, talking about somebody getting hacked up, somebody getting shot, somebody getting stalked. You think you're not inviting that trouble in? You are. And a lot of people think this is funny up here and think this true crime, as they call it, community. I don't consider myself in the true crime community. I'm not in nobody's community. I'm in my own zone. Because I don't want to be grouped into this garbage. Because a lot of people don't take this stuff serious. But I did find it strange tonight, or last night rather, this person's messaging me and her simultaneously, and he's not our friend. And she and I don't even talk a whole lot on the platform that much with one another. It was almost as if somebody was sitting there watching to see, oh, they're on. Let me message them. See, I can see somebody doing that that's friends with us. I'm telling you all, this is no game out here. This is not a game.
Again, could be nothing. Could be him just trying to insert himself like so many do. It's just weird. Next shoe video. Or wait, maybe the next one is not a shoe video, but here's another one of his, okay? Here we go.
Go ahead and say whatever you When I got in a car accident, I had no
Sorry, commercial. Let me address somebody in the chat. That's her responsibility to call the police. She lives in that house. She's not a visitor. Why should it be somebody else's responsibility to call the police? She lives in that house. So that makes no sense. Why would you wait for somebody on the outside to call? Because if the noise is that loud, then that means you sat there and listened to the whole scenario of your friends being killed and you didn't do anything. Think about what you're saying. Because if the noise is that loud for an outsider to call the police, then that means you visually and or by ear heard your friends being slaughtered and you didn't do anything. That's crazy. That's ridiculous.
Whatever you want. There was an accomplice, and the police know that there was an accomplice. It is still at large. Go ahead and say whatever you want. There was an accomplice. Because he needed one of the residents to unlock the door. Duh. Because he needed one of the residents to unlock the door. Duh. The tarp will be much easier to find than the knife. The tarp will be much easier to find than the knife. The tarp will be much easier to...
I think she's talking, there's no sound.
I'm sorry, I was muted. He's different, right? I don't know what to make of him. I know that the videos in the past caused me to really wonder, okay, who is this guy? Maybe he is law enforcement's, a family member of law enforcement. But the more and more he's talking in these videos, I'm going, maybe he knows Kohberger.
Well, I'm going to say this about DM. If indeed she sat there and watched and heard all this that went on, shame on her. And if by the age of 20 to 21, you don't know to call 911 because you hear some people in the room doing something that sounds nefarious, something is wrong with you. Because in the end, you're still in the house with the perpetrator. Perhaps. We don't know. So we don't even know what's the truth. Allegedly, he left out. So if your door is shut and locked, call 911. Because if the killer wanted to hurt her, I would assume that he would have. I don't know how else to weigh it. So you're still in the house. You're still in the room. So how is not calling 911 of importance? Because it goes back to what I've said already. Is this somebody you want to have as your roommate? Because I would not want her as my roommate. Because as I said, you don't know what really happened in that house. You just know that 4 people died viciously. But I don't know who all was in there. I don't know who was going out of there. I don't know who was up, who was asleep, where they were standing, who may have been halfway out of the room. I don't know. I was not there. I'll have to wait till they have trial and tell the positioning of everybody and where they think they were. But in the end, all you have is this girl's version of doors opening and closing and hearing people talking, whimpering, a dog barking, seeing the suspect round 3. That's all you got besides the evidence. That's it. And I know that people lie all the time and they do not tell the truth and they withhold things because I watch it. Every time I watch true crime stories, there's always somebody that saw something, heard something that they never told. And this shit goes on for years. and they will wait all of year 5, year 6 to go to the police and say, yeah, I heard, I saw something. They were rinsing out a bloody shirt in the sink, but I didn't say nothing. Craziness. And I always say to myself logically, dear God, if you would see something like this, you think it would be safe for you to be in the company of this person or these people? You looking at them do something, you know it's something strange about their behavior or something they're doing, and you don't think they won't do it to you. Because if he passed me walking, first thing I would think is, shit, he might want to come back. He might have realized he saw me. Unless he saw her and he just kept on. She wasn't who he wanted to harm. That's still crazy. See, I don't have that mindset of, I guess he don't want me. I don't have that kind of mindset. If I got a thought something about this person walking by ain't right, hell yeah, I'm calling the police. Because really, a lot of people who get angry at people questioning this information, you all act like she didn't even live in the damn house. You act like she just walked in and chose a room to sleep in. She actually lived there. And I think some of you don't want to accept that. You act like she didn't even live there. Like she wasn't supposed to say nothing, whether she saw him or not. That's her house. She lived in that house. And I think by the time you stay with a person after a couple of weeks, a couple of months, you should have a little inkling of the type of roommates you have in your peripheral. Who you can talk to, who you can share secrets with, who you can't, who you can trust, who you can't. The type of people they hang around with, like, whatever. Whether it was a party house or not, there wasn't a party going on right then. And you see some strange guy walk by your door, just like many people said, well, hell, you didn't notice any blood. You didn't notice a bloody knife. Where was the knife at? They haven't said they found it at the house. So where did he have the knife? Tucked in his pocket? I mean, you have to think about all those things. It's too much to dissect.
Kohberger. I don't know. Or he's a clout chaser. Good point, Samson. Yeah, he totally could be a clout chaser.
No.
So let's listen now.
They weren't 18, 19. Those are all 20, 21-year-olds.
Clips of Nancy Grace. But there's a clip where she's talking about the shoes. And I'm just going to kind of, illustrate his clips about the shoes with her clip about the shoes. So hold on a second. Let me grab that. Okay. It's supposed to be in here. All right, I'm gonna have to play it from my phone.
I've been studying the shoe print a lot, and of course we need to know more about it before I can be 100% sure. But it seems to me that the shoe print corroborates or confirms what DM, one of the two roommates that lived, stated. We believe it is a Van sneaker shoe print because of the diamond print on the bottom of it. Now, Kohberger was seen entering and leaving court one day in a pair of Vans. I don't see how those could be the same ones, but don't you know they tore his apartment up looking for those sneakers because you know there'd be blood on them if he kept them. But I'm just thinking about what we can learn. We don't know if the shoe print was bloody, in fact, but I don't really see how it could be anything else but blood for them to have noticed it.
Well, there's a couple things. The footprint is near the home. The critical thing is
it's in the home. It is in the home.
But the direction that it's heading, and that's what verifies what she said, the direction he was going, same thing. So now you have a shoe that he obviously liked that type of shoe. It wasn't an Air Jordan, wasn't a work boot, it wasn't a flip-flop. So if he's got more than one pair of those type of shoes, but if I'm the crime scene investigator and I cannot find a bloody pair of Vans, I'm going to take every one to show again
this pattern. This is a shoe that he likes. I've also got the size. So now I've got, excuse me, the same size shoe you wear, the direction of the shoe heading out of the house, which is what DM said, and I've got a pair that should be bloody.
You're giving me a horrible flashback of the O.J. Simpson trial and the Bruno Mollies. I just want to get that out of my head.
Okay, so, I wonder if it's true that he left no trail of blood. How did he do that?
Well, we know he left the trail.
Did he wear one of those tie-back suits? Did he?
I believe he left the trail. That's the whole purpose of that footprint being in front of DM's door. I think it's common sense. He wouldn't have been able to wash up anything because she said he walked past her and went out the door. So there was no washing up. We all asked that question in the beginning before we knew who the suspect was. So if we're to believe this girl's version that he walked past her and out the slider door, there was no washing up. Because how did he leave the print? He only left the print 3 ways. When he first came in, he stood at the door and tried to open the door. On his way back down from the 2nd floor, that would be print number 2. And then coming back from Xana's room and stand back in front of the door or pass by the door. There's only 3 ways you want to get a bloody print. The going back and forth. So, why are you going to wash your hands upstairs if you're getting ready to murder 2 more people? Because the sheath is upstairs, so common sense will tell you that that's where he pulled the knife out. There's no purpose in putting a knife in and out of a sheath when you intend on murdering more than 1 person. And obviously he came there to murder more than 1 person. Maybe he did not expect to have the 2 girls in the bed, so he gets a 2 for 1. He planned on murdering Xana if indeed she's one of the targets. So either way, he's not getting ready to be putting a knife in and out of a sheath. We know he didn't put it in and out of a sheath because that means he would have to go run back upstairs and throw the sheath up there deliberately. Why would he do that? Well, most of us believe the girls were murdered first because the sheath's up there by one of the dead girls. And the knife comes in the sheath. One would assume he brought it in the sheath. So he took the knife out and it lighted on the bed or it fell off while he was stabbing the girls. Well, that's the whole point. Who's going to tell somebody they're a killer? Hey, guess what? Be my friend. I'm going to murder you later.
Did he take everything off, put it in a bag, and then get rid of the bag? Like, how did he keep himself from getting blood all over the place? Of course, we're not positive that he didn't, but from what it seems like, and from what Nancy Grace said, it's really a mystery as to why there wasn't more blood on the exterior of the home from his exit.
But see, we don't know that.
So, I think that's one of those things that has yet to come out, maybe. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I personally feel, and it's not confirmed at all, but I personally feel he had to have had help in some way, shape, or form. It's really hard to pull this kind of we're talking quadruple homicide. How do you pull that off alone when not every single person was asleep, right? We know that Xana was still on her
very
phone.
True.
Was it till...
That's where there's a problem.
DoorDash? Was it DoorDash? Yeah, I think it was DoorDash delivery. Then she's on TikTok. Was it till 4:12? It was either 4:12 or 4:16. And then by 4:25 or 4... I need to have the timeline in front of me. But...
I got 89 viewing. How do you all feel about the title of my video? Because that's really my topic. The Magri owner, a woman by the name of Miss Fisher, is disputing the rumor that he was at her establishment. So was he there or not? Yes, Tracy. A few fought back. They didn't say who fought back and who didn't. But a few is more than two. And you only have 4 victims, so use deduction. And possibly that could have happened. He had it on his belt, the sheath attached to a belt, however it's connected. He's stabbing people. I mean, it's work, what he's doing. You don't stab a person and, don't build up a sweat. Well, she may not. We don't know. We weren't there. I can't say if he went in her business or not. I don't live in Moscow. I'm not here to make up anything pertaining to this storyline that I don't have proof of. I don't know if he went there or not. The point is, if somebody else corroborates it down the road, it's really not going to matter. If they can show phone pings that he was near that vicinity, it is what it is. Well, for the 18th time, you don't have any, it's nothing you can do about a killer coming in your business. That's just life. People are nasty. So all type of nasty people walked in your business. Sadists, child molesters, rapists, liars, thieves. It's all the same to me. Just be thankful they didn't kill you. That's how I look at it. You don't know who's coming in your business to eat, order food, dine in, dine out, carry out. That's just business. Sick people have to eat. Hello, they have to buy shoes, clothes. You see, he went to Walmart, Marshalls, because that's the point. You don't stop living because you're a sadist. I mean, it's just the way it is. I don't know. I don't know what's the truth. I just say I just wait till they go to court, till they show us all the pings of his cell phone, where he was, if there's any video surveillance of him going in this business or not. And then naturally, she's the owner. She'll have control over any type of video footage. She can easily erase footage of seeing him in the business. Say, I don't know how far back her recording goes. Say, I have no idea.
25 or 4, I need to have the timeline in front of me. But by 4:20, I think it was, or 4:25, he's out of the home. How did he do it so quick? It's anybody's question. Like, it doesn't compute. All right, so now let's get into the connection between Kohberger and Kaylee and Maddie. I'll show you what we've got going on here. So you might know this, you might not. Kohberger was big into working out. He was a runner, supposedly. He would listen to Spotify. So here was his Spotify account. He had 324 followers and was following 4. Now, I want you to see who he was following. Kaylee Gonsalves. Let me make sure you guys are seeing this. Okay, good. Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, Nirvana, and Jack Harlow. Those were the people he was following. Now, what I noticed in the first moments after he was arrested, after they took him into custody, it seemed like there was literally somebody that was taking down all his social media. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? If you were tracking that moment when they released his name and you start looking him up, right? You're Googling Brian Kohberger.
Hey guys, my rich stepmom.
So who would be taking his social media down? I don't know if the police would be doing that. Would they be the ones taking his social media down? I don't know. Very strange if that is true. Well, the thing about your business is you have a right to turn anyone down that you think may be causing any type of havoc in your business, whether it be filming, trying to interview people, standing outside, causing any type of ruckus. You have a right to tell them to leave, and you call the police. That's your right. That's your right as a citizen. That's your right as a business owner. Anything that can disrupt your business, whether it be the media, whether it be bloggers, whomever, that's your business. That's the thing people need to understand about this type of work here, social media, all that. We don't have any rights to be harassing people and running inside of people's businesses and going from person to person. That is a business. So you are disrupting business if you're going in or asking questions and tapping on this person's shoulder. Hey, did you see this? Hey, do you know this? That's disrupting the business, and you can tell them to get out. What are you going to sell? What are you going to say? I got free speech? No, you don't have free speech. You're disrupting a business. You can stand across the street and talk to yourself on your cell phone all you want. But over here inside of my business, I run this. So you have to have backbone, because truthfully, a lot of these bloggers, they get away with the stupid stuff they do because people don't stand up to them. And that's what they're hoping, that you'll back down and you won't stand up. I wouldn't have any problem letting you know. You're not going to stand here and film shit. Nothing. You ain't going to come in here and ask no questions. You ain't going to do nothing. You can stand your ass across that street and you can stalk like Kohberger did and wait till you find a gullible person that's stupid enough to hold a damn conversation with you. But you're not going to do it in my establishment.
You start looking them up, right? You're Googling Brian Kohberger. You're finding them on Reddit. You're finding them on... hold on, what was the other site I was finding on? Oh, on Instagram. Everything. It seemed like everything, every bit of him that was known, any social media he had, it was gone like within, I can't really put a time on it, but it felt like it was definitely within the first day. So now check out his, and we're lucky to even have screenshots. These have been taken down. Like his Instagram photo or his Instagram account was taken down. But look here. Okay, so this was definitely his account. How I know? Well, okay, I can't say definitely, but I'm pretty positive it was his account. Because on October 8th, he posted a very gruesome video of somebody beating somebody else to oblivion. Okay? I don't think you can retroactively go back and post stuff. Now, can you? I think it was his account. I could show you the video, but honestly, I don't want to see it. Anyway, here it was. Brian Christopher Kohberger was, I believe, one of the Instagram accounts he had. Look who he's following. Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, this guy Casey, Ryan. These are like, I think, military guys. Let's see. What was the... Yeah, the video, I could show you the beginning of the video. Oh, I'll pull out of it pretty quick, though, because it's honestly pretty unsavory.
I can't play that music.
And this is probably old news. It's the topic of conversation 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I wanted to address that hand real quick because it is absolutely noticeable. All right. Next stuff. Okay, so I don't know how to fit this in, but let's talk about it real quick. I've gone over this before. This was the riddle left on 4chan. Oh, 4chan. I know it's coming. Okay. But I really still wonder if this has relevance. Let's read it again and let's look at these coordinates, okay? Flowers, leaves, and butterflies. Here is a sight to soothe your eyes. A mini forest outside your home. You might even find a gnome. So he gives these, whoever the author of this is, gives coordinates, right? Well, my husband, part of his career in the military was maps. He's great at maps. So not that it takes somebody being great at maps to find this, but this is where it leads to. It's a location. So let's see, east of this dropped pin location is Pinecrest Road. North is Robinson Park Road. And it's just in this field. I don't know that that's relevant, but I will tell you it's about 26 minutes from where he lived in Pullman. So it was kind of like a good, not a midpoint, but it's like a location you could go to and you could probably get back in a little over an hour. I don't know that that means anything. I just wanted to share it with you in case it is important. I know there's probably snow everywhere. It's not like anybody could find anything right now, but there was another set of coordinates that I found, and they give a location starts with a V. I think it's Viola. And how it was posted in 4chan, it was a while ago. It's maybe 3 or 4. No, not even. No. Actually, it was quite a while longer. It was like 7 or 8 weeks ago. These other coordinates were posted in 4chan, and they said, here's more coordinates. And it was a location in Viola. I think that was the name of it. And it was also equal proximity. It was like 26, 27 minutes to get there from Pullman. Now, where it is, I couldn't find it, but I know I have it. I just need to look a little bit better. I can show that to you. If you send me an email and you want to see it, I'll send it to you. How about that? I'll find it. Anyway, I felt that was worthy of discussing. Now, another thing, and then we're going to start getting into phone calls because I don't want to spend too much time on this. Let's listen to the Reddit post again. This is the Reddit post that I had my first live stream on this case. Okay, so I included it in my first live stream on this case. You will hear it again. And now that we know more of the facts about this case, I want you to tell me if you really think it's possible Brian was the author of this, okay? Let's go ahead and play it. So it says, here's what I think happened. They all came home around the same time, home by 2 a.m. The killer is already there, in the wood line, hiding in the dark, but with a full view of the back of the house the entire time. Watches and waits as they all eat and congregate briefly in the second level kitchen area in varying states of inebriation. Finally, they go to their respective bedrooms, Ethan and Zan on the second level, locking the bedroom door behind them. Maddie and Kaylee do the same on the third level, initially to their own rooms to get ready for bed. The killer is outside, motionless, still waiting patiently, noting what lights are turning on and off and tracking the faint sound of opening and closing bathroom and bedroom doors. His intended target is in there, on the top floor, and all lights are out now. He waits 20 more minutes, silence, yet he is concerned about the unexpected male in the house. But he is too hopped up on all of this fantasy, months in the making, to turn back time. Plus, he has a target, a mission to accomplish, a retribution. He hopes he can accomplish his task without having to even bother with the couple on the second floor. He is stealthy. He is practiced. He slips in quietly, a window, a door, it doesn't matter. He is in, undetected, and quietly ascending the staircase to the third floor now. He reaches the intended target's door. It is slightly ajar. In the dim glow of charging electronics, he notices there are 2 girls in bed. He freezes for a moment, stops and listens to the deafening silence and realizes it is far too late to turn back now. He pushes in silently and sees his target. She is sleeping hard now, and so is her bedmate. So this person knew that they were in the same bed before it was ever announced by the parents, by the way, or by the dad last night. Of course, a lot of us could assume that was the case. I know I did.
Let me see. Let me go back to that again.
Out now. Happened. They all came home around the same time, home by 2 a.m. The killer is already there, in the wood line, hiding in the dark, but with a full view of the back of the house the entire time. Watches and waits as they all eat and congregate briefly in the second level kitchen area in varying states of inebriation. Finally, they go to their respective bedrooms, Ethan and Zan on the second level, locking the bedroom door behind them. Maddie and Kaylee do the same on the third level, initially to their own rooms to get ready for bed. The killer is outside, motionless, still waiting patiently, noting what lights are turning on and off and tracking the faint sound of opening and closing bathroom and bedroom doors. His intended target is in there, on the top floor, and all lights are out now. He waits 20 more minutes, silence, yet he is concerned about the unexpected male in the house. But he is too hopped up on all of this fantasy, months in the making, to turn back time. Plus, he has a target, a mission to accomplish, a retribution. He hopes he can accomplish his task without having to even bother with the couple on the second floor. He is stealthy. He is practiced. He slips in quietly, a window, a door, it doesn't matter. He is in, undetected, and quietly ascending the staircase to the third floor now. He reaches the intended target's door. It is slightly ajar. In the dim glow of charging electronics, he notices there are 2 girls in bed. He freezes for a moment, stops and listens to the deafening silence and realizes it is far too late to turn back now. He pushes in silently and sees his target. She's sleeping hard now, and so is her bedmate. So this person knew that they were in the same bed before it was ever announced by the parents, by the way, or by the dad last night. Of course, a lot of us could assume that that was the case. I know I did. But this is kind of interesting, okay?
Okay, so let me stop there. So this post she's reading, did somebody make this post before the father mentioned that they died in the bed together? I don't know. Oh, Lord have mercy.
He hovers over the target and unleashes his carnage, a barrage quickly incapacitating her. The girl lying next to her is awake now, but only for long enough to say no several times, the last one being loud enough to further enrage the killer. She, too, is quickly dispatched. He had practiced this 1,000 times in his mind. It was quick, the whole thing. He checked his watch. It had only been 3 minutes in total since he entered the home. Let's see, hold on.
When I listen at this, I don't know who wrote this and what date they wrote it, but two people lying in the bed together, common sense would tell you when you start stabbing one person, if one happened to be asleep, I would assume they would possibly wake up with all the movement in the bed. How is it that one could not have gotten out to safety? Because let's say you're stabbing one. The other one should have awakened if they weren't already awake. Wouldn't that one that's not being stabbed try to run? And what would he do? Wouldn't he try to stop that person? So let's say he stops stabbing the first person. He goes after the second one because maybe they jump up out of the bed trying to get away. So the person that was first stabbed, are they in a place where they can move to get out of the bed to try to run to safety? Or the stab wound or wound was too quick, deep for her to get out of the bed? You have to ask these questions. Because both in the bed together, one would wonder if they were actually up. I don't know. Strange. Because the father said they were both in the bed together. Just in my right mind, I'm thinking that even if one was sleeping or just fell asleep, they would wake up with the movement of him stabbing the friend. So would I stay in the bed, or am I the type that would try to get him off of her? See, we don't know. Because it could have gone like that. We don't know if one was up, one was asleep, two were up, come in. What are you doing in here? He jumps, pounces. Instead of one running, she tries to help her friend or try to get him off of her. This is just, it's a horrible thing to even try to imagine. I don't know if the district attorney will even be able to try to role play it out. But they're usually good with evidence to do the role playing, how they think the perpetrator entered, who they stabbed first, what the other person was doing. This is just too much to digest. But once again, this happens every day. It just so happens it was 4 people in a house and they were young people.
Let's see, hold on. The bedroom's a total of 5 minutes since he slipped inside the house. The killers quickly look around and pauses to listen. No sounds downstairs, but his heart is pounding so loudly in his ears, he doesn't hear the hushed voices and quiet shuffling coming from the second floor bedroom. As he begins his descent down the stairs to make his quick and silent exit, his sick mission now accomplished, a wave of exhaustion rolls over him as he steps off the stairs onto the floor of the second level. He sees his exit across the room. He begins to move towards it slightly. And then it says to be continued, maybe. Isn't that wild? Every time
To be continued. What is that supposed to mean? I don't understand that. If you're going to the second floor, then you're going for your target. So what would be continued?
hear that, I think.
Let me say that again.
There are plenty of reasons to
Sorry about that commercial. That's why it's really not good to be reading these commentaries from people you don't know who's writing this stuff. It's very dangerous. Hold on, I'm trying to get closer to where she's reading
These
this.
details. And exactly what the guy says. Well, the off pretty much, and then we get to the phone several times. The last one being loud enough to further enrage the killer. She too is quickly dispatched. He had practiced this 1,000 times in his mind. It was quick, the whole thing. He checked his watch. It had only been 3 minutes in total since he entered the home. Let's see, hold on. The bedrooms, a total of 5 minutes since he slipped inside the house. The killers quickly look around and pauses to listen. No sounds downstairs, but his heart is pounding so loudly in his ears, he doesn't hear the hushed voices and quiet shuffling coming from the second floor bedroom. As he begins his descent down the stairs to make his quick and silent exit, his sick mission now accomplished. A wave of exhaustion rolls over him as he steps off the stairs onto the floor of the second level. He sees his exit across the room. He begins to move towards it slightly, and then says, to be continued, maybe. Isn't that wild? Every time
But that makes no sense because that's basically saying he stabbed the 2 girls upstairs and then exited out, which we know that didn't happen. He killed 4 people. So this post makes it seem like he only killed 2. So the post doesn't make any sense to say to be continued. If he's moving across the second floor toward the exit, then that means he hadn't gone around the corner to kill the other 2, unless I'm misunderstanding the post. That's what I'm saying. This is stupid to me. Because I heard her say move toward the exit. Didn't say he moved around to the second floor and entered the other room, killed them, and then to be continued, like come back for somebody else. It said move toward the exit. So this post makes it seem like he only went upstairs and killed the 2 and then came down the stairs and moved toward the exit to be continued. So that means he would have only killed 2. It's a what? A psychic. Well, the psychic must don't know anything if it's true. Because everybody knows he killed 4 people. So that doesn't make any sense either. I'm not going to play any more of this. I don't want to play any more of this bullshit. Because it's irritating me. Because I don't know. My spirit is telling me to leave this alone. It's not good. It's not good at all. Because it's really bad. As I said, the role playing. And that's really all everyone's been doing since the kids got killed, is trying to figure out, one, who did it, which room did he go in first. Most people would think a person would kill on the floor that they enter in. But if you've been watching them from outside in the back and your target was on the top floor, then I assume that's where you would go. I don't know. I'm not him. But what don't make no sense with that post is this. If you read the affidavit, Kohberger was outside at 4:04 circling the street. So he couldn't have been watching outside in the back. We do know that he got there by 3. But what was he doing? So the post, whoever wrote the post, didn't know this information because we just got this information. in the affidavit. Kohberger left his house about 2:47. So it didn't take him that long to get to Moscow. So he was there after 3, by 3 o'clock. Okay? It's not about a 15-minute drive. With the way he drives, I would assume he could make it in probably 11 minutes. So do the math. He got there a little bit after 3. If he was pulled up somewhere and parked and was standing outside watching and waiting for them to cut off lights and do all this grooming and stuff, how did he get back in his car at 4:04? So this is why you have to listen to the information. That's in the affidavit, 4:04 a.m. So somebody saw him. He's either on a doorbell camera or there's an eyewitness to him circling around in that damn street. And it can't be the phone, because allegedly he didn't cut the phone on until he got back to Pullman. It's all creepy. Well, the second floor is the only way to enter from the back through the slider. But I'm just saying, if I entered in the slider, I would see killing somebody on the first floor, on that floor first, the second floor first, kill on the second floor first, because that's the way I'm entering. But if I know for sure my target ain't on the second floor, or let's say that front door, which sits next to the steps, I don't want her, which would be DM. Because we never even knew anybody was in that damn room. So I'm going upstairs allegedly because that's my target's up there. And I think he possibly was surprised that 2 girls were in the bed. He's even more angry. Now he comes down. He knows that, what? This room is empty? Couldn't know it was empty because somebody actually was living in there. So why not go in that room? Then you go all the way around the side to Xana's room. Because you got to remember, when you come down those stairs, you are passing DM's room. That room sits right there in that little tiny hallway. So why did you bypass that room and then go around, cross into the living room, and then go around that wall to the left and down that little bitty hallway, which is Xana's room? This is some wicked shit if I ever heard in my life. But that's what we're saying, Sky. You must not be paying attention. That's what we believe, is he went to the third first. Then came down and went to the second, the entry he came on, bypassed DM's room, and then went to Xana's room. But the thing that doesn't make any sense is that when you come in on the second floor, straight into those doors is DM's room. You're going to look straight ahead before you go either direction, to the right, to the left. Why not try that room? Because you have to make that make sense to somebody with some sense, and I got all mine. I'm coming in. DM's room is facing me coming in. I don't go to her room. I go straight up the stairs to kill the girls on the top floor. And then I come back down the stairs, go past her room again, exit to the left around the corner, and go to Xana's room, kill her and Ethan, come back out, pass DM's room again, leave a shoe print in one of these intervals, and go out of the slider. Shit don't make no sense. And I'm sick of talking about it. Because it don't make no sense. Whether you want to believe this was the target, that wasn't the target, he still followed all 3, and they're all 3 dead. So you have to pay attention to the details. It's not like he followed 3 and only killed 1. He followed 3 and killed 3. Although there are 5 total living in the house. So why those 3? I mean, you have to use deduction. He didn't have to kill him. Because Xana's room is out of sight. When you first come in that house, you don't know what's around that corner unless you saw the layout of the house or you've been in there. And if one was supposed to move out, then really that would only leave Maddie to be on the top floor. So that's why you need confirmation. If he ever went to the restaurant, number one, when did he actually touch down in the state of Washington? When did he start following the girls? See, this is all going to lay out the time of how he came across the girls, when he started running over there to Moscow, sitting at the house, any pings toward the restaurant, schoolhouse, Kaylee's job. See, it all is a divine order. And you still left two. And it's not to say these girls deserve death. But why those three was he following? Because the other two are blondes. They're not ugly girls. So if you follow what I'm saying, two blondes, one brunette. I call them the brat pack, the three. Because 9 times out of 10, they were the closest. So they were the brat pack. And 9 times out of 10, he felt that, he saw that. Because this is why I always tell people, you can learn a lot by watching people. You don't ever have to talk to them. You can watch and draw your assertions from watching. So through pictures, through gawking, he realized who was the closest. It was those three. Because there's no way in all those photographs they posted, he didn't know 5 people lived in the house. Whether Ethan was there or not, you still had 5 girls that paid rent there. So he chose the 3 he wanted, obviously. There's no other way for me to look at it. You know, it may not be the truth, but he knew 5 because he's following. So he's looking at all their pictures and their posting. So he knew who was the closest. He knew the brat pack had the bond. And maybe he did not want the other 2. And he spared them. He knew one was downstairs. He knew one was on that second floor, DM's room. And like I tell people, Kohberger could have broke into those rooms because who was going to stop him? All this bullshit about he was tired, he was exhausted. What does he give a fuck? I mean, just think about what you're saying. He broke into somebody's house and killed them. You done killed 4 people. Oh, you're tired now? I mean, you know, hey, you have killers that eat sandwiches and drink soda pop out of your refrigerator after breaking in your house, assaulting you, or robbing you. Hell, they go in the refrigerator, make a sandwich. It's just a weird case. And it's only weird because the layout of the house, the little things we're hearing about, you know, the parties and things, assuming it was somebody that possibly knew them, not assuming it was a stranger. But many strangers have assaulted people, broken into their houses. As you have seen with Ted Bundy, those girls did not know him. The victims did not know him. Went to Florida. They did not know him. Colorado, they did not know him. Never met, never had a hookup, never had a date. And when people break into your house, if they choose your house, they do not have to know you. This is why you have to be very careful about posting stuff. Binky, what's so funny? Well, no, they didn't want to tell us that one was on the second floor because they knew that the killer was still at large. But this is what makes no sense. You don't want to tell the public that one was on one floor, one was on the second floor, but allegedly she saw the killer all along and it's in the affidavit, which we weren't expecting to even hear that. And of course that would blow anyone's mind when we're assuming that 2 were on the bottom. This is why they didn't wake up, because they didn't hear any damn thing. Yeah, they do break in your house and eat your food. Break in your house, eat your food, leave their fucking ID in the middle of the kitchen. Who robs a person and leaves their damn ID? Kohberger was that stupid. I'm surprised he didn't leave his damn driver's license because he's just a fucking dodo bird. I'd really like him. Just, I'd love to go toe to toe with his ass. Just whoop his ass. And I pray nobody gives him a whoop down before he can make it to trial, because he needs his ass beat. But seriously, they didn't tell us because they knew the killer was still at large, and that's common sense. But the flip side of that is they knew the girl had seen him. We just didn't know. So then it's kind of like, well, shit. Did you put her in protective custody? Because we, the public, didn't know that she saw him. So their lives was at risk if indeed he just ran out of their tunnel vision and didn't realize he left too, or was in some type of fog. Could it be he was in a fog and just, killed the four, boom, 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 ran out, and then said, damn, I didn't check the first floor. Second floor, I don't know. Who the hell knows? Oh, yeah, he's worth the ticket. But that's where we're puzzled. And nobody can judge any of us for questioning what the hell happened in that house. Because we're all just assuming he went here, he went there. But with the sheath being left behind on the bed with the girls, that's where I would assume he went first. Because you have to pull the knife out in order to stab a person. So 9 times out of 10, 10 out of 10, the knife was in the sheath first. When you use deduction, why would a knife sheath be laying by a dead body? Because a knife was in there. So I'd have to use deduction that that's where he started. But then when he comes down and kills those kids on the second floor, then we have to ask, were they up? He crossed their paths. Or they heard something and maybe inquired, hey, what's going on up there? See, we don't know. And maybe that crazy motherfucker came running down the stairs with that knife and they took off running back in their rooms, trying to lock the door. So you got to ask all that. Was the door busted open, pushed open in the bedrooms? They're not going to tell us all that. But then if let's just say it went down like that, that damn girl heard that. That girl heard that. Just imagine Ethan or that girl was up and they crossed paths with him coming down. Maybe they was in the kitchen cooking, getting a drink, something, soda pop. And they heard the commotion up there and they were like, hey, what's going on up there? And Kohberger finished stabbing the girls. Then you got the wonder that they scream, cry out. He runs down the stairs and hell, maybe they took off running to their rooms. He caught them because Xana's on the floor. So where was Ethan? In the bed or on the floor? Where was his last resting place? You have to ask. So somebody was up, because you can't be found dead in the floor and was asleep there. I doubt that. Xana was up. And from 4:12 to 4:20, that's only an 8-minute window. Hell yeah, Xana was up. So she could have been sitting up in a chair, eating. Ethan could have been asleep. I don't know. I don't know what they had going on. But I'd assume he's her boyfriend. If she ordered food, she'd be ordering it for both of them. So I'm going to use deduction and say Ethan was up too. So this is where it gets real ignorant. And I'm agitated as hell right now, just sitting here thinking about it. How in the hell, let's say both of them are up and they actually got the food. Food made it to the room. They're eating, talking. Did some noise happen upstairs to where maybe they said, hey, what's that noise? And one of them got up and then ran back in the room. or he came straight in the room and started stabbing them. But I believe they were up nonetheless. Still, the scenario will be the same as upstairs. How is it one could not have gotten out of the room to safety? Because now you got to ask who he stabbed first, where was the bed position, and how can he stab two people at the same time? Because Kohberger is no fucking Superman. I ain't about to believe that. Ethan was a big guy. So her being up, awake, TikTok, ordering food, found dead on the floor would lead me to believe Xana probably tried to run. And he got her. So now I have to ask, did he get Ethan first? I don't know. Damn, this is bad. Yes, Sherry, I do. Thank you. Yeah, so Xana had to been trying to run. Because let's say he got her first. Ethan's up. Wouldn't Ethan try to stop him, fight him? So either way, he's trying to get her first. Ethan would get up and try to stop him. Wouldn't she then try to run to get out for safety? This is wicked. Yeah, one from running, shouting. And that's what you have to think about. Nobody is getting ready to be sitting here. I don't give a damn who you are. You are not getting ready to tell me you're not getting ready to be screaming while a person is wielding a knife and stabbing your fucking friend, boyfriend, girlfriend. There ain't no way. Roommates, all the same. Somebody should have been screaming. You're not about to make me think he killed everybody quietly. No. No, no, no. This is just, that's what bothers me the most is the logic. You try to put some logic into this. And I can't see a man not trying to fight another man. That I refuse to believe that. He'd have to be totally passed out. Just passed out drunk. And who's to say he wasn't? We're just assuming. She was just left up by herself eating food. I don't know. Because we've all met people that drink. Everybody's drinking capacity isn't the same. And one thing I will say, thank you very much. When men drink and get drunk, they are the ones that usually pass out first. That's something I've seen with my own eyes. They're down for the count first. That's why a lot of men are like, hey, how long is it going to take for you to be in the bathroom, blah, blah, blah. By the time the woman comes out from showering and doing all this, the guy's asleep. So it could be Ethan was asleep when she got the takeout order. I don't know. But I know that girl died on that floor, and that leads me to believe she tried to run. And that's the thud that the camera picked up 50 feet away, which is the house to the left. So he threw her to the floor and possibly stabbed her, finished stabbing her on the floor. And if that camera audio can pick that up through a fucking wall, how is DM not hearing this in an 8-minute window, opening and closing doors? This is bullshit. Someone had said to me the other day, could it be, it was my ma, T, that DM got it wrong, or she's telling it another way? What if she didn't see him the last time? Time number 3, opening the door. What if she saw him when he first came in? That would be walking towards me too. Because you can walk, I guess, towards me. I don't know. I need to see the layout of the house again to get a position of that living room. The person will be walking towards me to my right. I can't see him letting her live. That's where I had a problem. Yeah, that is why she's opening, closing the door. Well, my mom said maybe she saw him when he first came in. But then that's even more crazy too, because this is your first time in the house. So you mean to tell me when you first walk in the house, you're going in there to kill somebody. You see this girl who is not your intended target, and you will let her live? And then you wouldn't think, oh, she could call the police? See, this is crazy to me. That would be even more crazy. And that means she heard everything if she saw him when he first came in and then lied and said, oh, no, I only saw him when he was leaving. But how easy would that be to excuse yourself from any liability from calling the police? Is lie and say you saw him leave when possibly you saw him when he first got there. But you played possum with the doors open and closing, open and closing. That means you are a party to the fucking murders. Because there's no way I'm going to sit here and see you come in, shut the door, lock it, pray you don't come mess with my door, when in the end he could have. Hell, he's already in there and broke in. Man, this story is wicked. I think he would have taken her out if he saw her, especially when BK first got in there. Yes, but one's going to say, what's the difference between me seeing you when I first get there versus me seeing you when I'm leaving? Seeing is seeing you, whether when I first walk in or when I'm leaving. Why would I leave you alive, period? If I see you when I first come in, oh, you could go call the police. I'm walking in with a mask, dark clothes. I know the 2 girls upstairs doing their thing, and then they're around the corner doing their thing. Why would you be coming in? So either way, you look crazy. He's crazy if he left her alive when he first got in, or he saw her when he walked out. Tunnel vision, visual snow, whatever the hell you want to call it. Damn. This is Minecraft here, because this is bad. Because that video of the audio of the noise from Xana's room lets you know somebody on the second floor or the first should have heard a disturbance. So your ass have to be real knocked out where you ain't heard nothing. And there are times when you do sleep through the night and you don't hear anything. You don't hear dog barking. You don't hear somebody honking a horn. You don't hear somebody knocking on the door. You don't hear a cell phone. Because I keep my phone by my bed. And there's times when I woke up, I didn't even hear the phone or message, anything. And that's what's hard for a lot of people to assess, some of us. How could you not see a person standing in a door? And I would assume if she said, oh, my door was cracked and I was peeping through, I would assume that would be in the affidavit. Why not word it that way? Oh, my door was cracked and I saw this guy walk by and I got a visual of him with a mask on over his nose, mouth, and bushy eyebrows. Jesus. Well, I'm not gonna hold you all, because I need to get some rest. I'm really over talking about this case because it's very disturbing to me, and it's just sickly to me. But the Mad Greek owner has said they're not going to speak on this issue again, but the report is not accurate of Mr. Kohberger being at the establishment. Now, we both know that when people own businesses, rarely are they in their business every day. It just depends on how many people they have working, how big the staff is, and how much business they get. So you have to count all those things as far as seeing the different types of people coming in the restaurant. And this is a town of 26,000, so that's very small. So you have to ask yourself the obvious. Was the owner in the business every day from the time Kohberger touched down on Washington soil up until he went to Pennsylvania? Does the business have inside cameras inside of the restaurant? Because if it doesn't have any cameras, who's going to say that he was in there or not? Only his phone pings can say he was in the general area of that main street. What a mess. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Beganji, 129 Cash App, all super chat stickers. Welcome to the live. Thank you all so much for the stickers, chats. The Sweetie Pilo's content is pertaining to Kohberger having a helper. She's basically saying, how did he commit this crime without help? But we have learned with many murders that take place in the dead of the morning, dead of the night, it can be done. Bundy did it, went in the rooms and attacked 4 women. 2 survived, 2 died. So we can't say that it can't happen because it did. BTK did it to a whole family. He killed, what was it, about 5 of them? So therefore it can happen. Killed a mother, father, and children. And you would think that somebody in this situation could have gotten away. Even if they saw a gun, they say, F it, let him shoot me. He'll shoot me running. But as they say, people freeze. Frozen shock. But Kohberger didn't have a gun to our knowledge, just a knife. And naturally, if you're asleep or resting or inebriated, your defenses are going to be down. Want to get more information pertaining to this information that the owner of the restaurant is saying he wasn't there or didn't patronize? I will bring you an update. We will wait to see if People Magazine will backtrack the content and if the person who's spoken will say they made it up or possibly got it wrong. I doubt that they will, but we will see. Because this is not a good look for People Magazine, or the person that came forward. And maybe that's the reason why, this is the reason why the person didn't want to be known, because maybe it isn't true that he went to the restaurant. I don't know. Oh, you're welcome, honey. You all have a wonderful weekend as well. Please check out my earlier live stream with Miss Tracy from Knoxville, Tennessee. She is trying to promote a reality TV pertaining to big steppers, women that are in the community, African-American women doing big things. Naturally, the Queen was invited to participate in this reality show. I really don't want to be seen on camera being followed around, but I told her I don't mind being a guest of one of the big steppers, kind of like how the housewives have a friend. I'll be a friend. I offered my services as a producer for the show. I'll be kind of like Shawnee from Basketball Wives. I'll produce the show and I'll pop in and out. That's about it. But I don't want to be followed around. because after tonight, with this mysterious person messaging both of us, it gave me vibes of this right here. Here I am, a YouTuber and a woman, talking about true crime and children being murdered in a house, and I be damned if I'm receiving a message from an unknown person and then she receives a message right after they sent it to me. And we do not know this person. He is not a friend of ours, and I'm not a friend of his, vice versa. And it was so strange when she said that to me. I said, this strange person just sent me a message. And she said, what? So I read it to her. He said, hello. And then she says, oh my God, he just sent one to me too. So I started getting flashbacks of this Idaho 4. So, yes, it's very scary. And this is why I tell you, you have to be careful the things that you suck in as information. You have to be very careful. And I've told you all this. You have to be very careful with social media. This is not a game. I think the Idaho 4 should be evident after getting information from the affidavit and this search warrant that there are people watching you. They watch your posts. They watch who you like. They watch what you comment on people's posts. How do you think people send friends of friends? They send friends of friends because they watch you responding to the people's posts. You say hello. You say, oh, pretty dress, nice photograph. So this guy has obviously watched our social media pages. And it's scary as fuck because I'm talking about the Idaho 4. Although we are old enough to be these kids' parents, but you don't know people. Now, this is probably just some dusty foreigner bored trying to probably hack an account, but it's still scary only because I talk about this on my channel. Yes, it happened a few hours ago before I went live. And it was scary because it was almost like somebody was watching us like they knew we were talking. And that's the first thing I told her. I said, it's almost as if somebody knows that you and I are on the phone talking to each other. How would somebody know we're talking? Because the message came in simultaneously. As I'm reading her the message, her phone is tinging. And then she said, well, what's the name of the person that just messaged you? So I gave her the person's name. He was messaging her right after me. Hell yeah, I blocked him just now before going live. I went in, looked at his profile, had a foreign name. I don't know who he is. I don't care. I blocked it. That's the end of that. But this is why I keep trying to say this to you all, that this is not a game out here with social media. I tell you 1,000 times to be careful what you're posting. Be careful using your government name. Do not use your government name. Don't use it in the chat. Don't use it on Facebook. Don't use it in articles. Don't use it in Google. Don't. Because people don't mind looking you up. You see, they can get information on your name, your height, your weight, where you live, your mama's house, all of that. There's people who sit and do this all fucking day. I think you should know this from watching YouTube, that the people that watch YouTube do it all day. So this is why I tell you, can you really judge Kohberger? Think about what I'm saying now. Kohberger stalked these kids. He killed these kids. Okay? But yet you have people who sit and Google and pay for stuff through Truth Finders and all of those shit all day just to Google people's names and their addresses and see where they live, where they work, so they can put them on blast in the chat and Facebook. How are they different than Kohberger? This is what I'm trying to make you all understand. You don't know people. And although a lot of these foreigners, they're just trying to find accounts to hack, people to scheme, scam, but it's still scary to be talking to somebody and you're both receiving messages damn near at the same time. Oh, I'm not worried about it messing with me, honey. I'll take it with a grain of salt that it's just somebody trying to find somebody to probably try to scam for some money, because that's what they do on social media. And he's just wanting a response so they can hack the account and all that. That's all. That's how I look at it. That's how I'm going to say. You all have a safe weekend. I will probably come back the first of the week. I don't want to talk about nothing else pertaining to the Idaho 4 this weekend. I did not have any plans to jump back on this morning, but I saw that in the queue in my phone about the owner refuting the report pertaining to Kohberger being at the restaurant. I need a break, a mental break from talking about these kids, because basically it's been most of my content for about 2 months now. So I don't want to talk about them this weekend. And as I said, this is a commentary channel on various topics and subject matters. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you. You have been listening to The Vault. Be safe.